love to chat about mindful magic. Mindful magic is intentionally, mindfully traveling through each day, each task, every little mundane thing you need to do with a magical mindset. Let's get magical and start this episode.
Welcome back to Mindful Magic. I'm Kate.
And I'm Marie. How is everybody doing?
Um,
Today, we're peeling back the layers of two worlds, the mystery around expensive makeup and the ancient art of glamour magic.
Now, we're not saying we believe this, but there's an online rumor that some very high end beauty brands are created in ways that go beyond just chemistry and marketing.
And money making, yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, claims of ritual charging during production and not necessarily the kind of rituals that are for your highest good. What do you guys think of that?
Now, is there evidence? No, but the conversations out there are fascinating. I know I went down that rabbit hole on TikTok one night and it was just, I'm like, wow. So, people are claiming that luxury beauty houses, the kind that sell $200 creams and $80 lipsticks, could be embedding products with energy or intent during creation.
Think about it. Factories and labs are just spaces. Energy can be set anywhere. If you can program a crystal, you can program a jar of foundation.
Exactly. And here's where it gets spooky. Some say these rituals are about creating dependency, that when you wear it, people might perceive you differently, maybe more magnetic, maybe more compliant, but the effect isn't truly yours.
And again, we're not saying we believe this, but it is a great reminder to make sure the magic you're wearing comes from you and not from someone else's intentions. This just brought up a great subject matter for us to kind of dive into this.
Yeah. And before we define glamour magic, here's a quick scroll of what people say online. No brand names. We're just talking just themes that what we've seen repeated. So, first quote is I worked events where launch nights felt ceremonial. Candles, phrases about blessing the line, everyone touching the first batch. Another one was our team did intention setting circles before packaging limited editions. It was framed as brand ritual, not spirituality. And then another one was full moon timing for drops, specific number counts, and charged display altars in stores. Not a cult, but it felt ritual encoded. Um, Another one, I can't leave the house without blank product. Without it I feel invisible, like the night's off. I know, Marie, like I don't know about you, but I do have certain name brand items that I use that I feel like I can't change it with anything else. Like I'll try
Right.
something else and I feel like no, I just don't feel the same. And
Yep.
maybe that's not a bad thing because we both use glamour magic, but I can relate to that one.
Right. Right.
So another one was I cleanse and reprogram everything I buy. Secondhand items carry the strongest, quote, previous owner energy, which I mean, that can be not just beauty products, but anything that's secondhand.
That's true. That's true. Now, none of this is proof. They're just personal accounts and internet stories. But the pattern we're hearing is ritual language, ceremony vibes, and real feelings of dependency. So, all we're saying is just keep your discernment on.
Yeah, right. And I just want to say too that it's really hard for us to give more specific examples because we don't really want to throw out any names. But if you
Right.
go online, you can find stories and people that work in the industry. You can go online and find that. We couldn't go too much in depth without naming these companies, and we didn't want to do that.
We don't want to
So
get sued.
right. So, one of our favorite topics, let's talk about what glamour magic really is because it's not just about looking pretty. It's using color, style, and energy to align how you feel with how you want to be perceived.
Exactly. And it works because humans respond to visual cues like colors, psychology, subtle body language, and even the textures and fabrics you choose to wear any particular day. They're all broadcast energy before you even, they all broadcast energy before you even utter a word.
Right. So, Marie and I saved a few questions from our first Glamour Magic episode last year. So, these are just perfect for today. So the first question from Ava, she said, is using glamour magic manipulative? I want to feel confident and I don't want to trick people.
See, and this is a beautiful question with a really beautiful intention. So, glamour glamour magic isn't about faking. It's about amplifying your truth. This isn't our version of the movie The Craft. We use intention plus consent. Quote, may my presence be received by those aligned with my highest good, end quote. It's easy. If a tactic would feel icky if it was used on you, then don't use it on others. That's the discernment as well.
Right.
So we had another question is I'm sensitive to scents. Can I do mindful glamour without perfumes or lots of products?
Absolutely. So go minimalist. So you can put water on your wrists. Like we always talk, Marie and I love to talk about water magic. So you can bless that water with any intention. A color coded hair tie or earrings, a breath pattern before you speak, or a tiny mirror mantra. So texture is magic too, which I love this. This is the first time I've actually heard about texture magic. So matte, this is grounded. Something satin is soft and a shimmer is expansive. So,
That, yeah.
how often we had another question, but I just love that the texture magic.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that one, Marie?
No, but I mean, I'm hearing you say it and it totally makes sense. Like why we would have thought of that ourselves, I think, if we would have thought about texture.
Yeah. So we had another question from Reese. How often do I need to reprogram items? Daily feels intense.
Um, right, reprogramming. So yeah, that is a bigger and that can feel a little intense and a little redundant maybe. So think moments versus maintenance. So program it once, then you can just touch to refresh and you can have that intention. A triple tap before you enter the room, or a single breath into your necklace, or a quick mist over your brush. Like if you've charge some, magical water or even a fragrance that you like. So you can weekly cleanse and micro refresh on the go. So it doesn't feel like overabundance of work.
Right. Yeah, I love that. And for me, sometimes because I'm the same way, I like very simple and it's just intention is everything and the belief behind your intention. So for me, I'll look at my bowl of crystals once in a while and I'm like, ooh, I haven't programmed, I haven't cleared them. I'll just envision it surrounded by white light. I ask my angels to just bless everything in that bowl. So
Perfect.
just simple things. Um, so, colors and meanings for glamour work. So, here are some color correspondences you can use in makeup, nails, clothing, or accessories. So, red, that's for passion, power, seduction, and a boost in energy. Pink, romance, softness, sweetness, and charm. Using black for, you can use black for mystery, authority, psychic protection, and then white for purity, clarity, and fresh starts.
Love that.
Gold for success, luxury, and radiant confidence. And silver is for intuition, mysticism, and adaptability. Blue is for calm, trust, loyalty, and communication. And green for prosperity, growth, and abundance. And again, you can basically whatever colors you want to use, you can program your own intention to each color, but this is basic color correspondence
Right. And
as a guide.
like Kate said, intention is everything. And I just want to make a note of this because on our reprogramming question, I personally, because Kate, you have kids, you're busy, and this is what our entire podcast and mindful magic is about. It's for busy people that where we can just infuse a little bit of magic into the mundane just to keep everybody kind of spiritually connected and grounded. So, do I wake up every morning and set intentions with my entire outfit and everything? Not every day, no, but if it's a day where I feel like I need it, then yes, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, and remember, it's not just the clothes, it's your lipstick, your nail polish, eyeshadow, jewelry, and even your handbag, shoes. anything that you choose to stick an intention into for that day or for that event or situation or person, do it. If it
Yeah.
makes you feel good, do it.
Yes. And if for those parents out there, teaching glamour magic to kids is so easy and it's so much fun. I do this with my daughter. We always bless everything. Like we set intentions. Basically, I teach her that everything matters, everything that you do. So when she chooses, if I notice that she's drawn to pink, I'm like, well, what does that mean for you today? Can we set an intention? And with kids, it's so easy because when you teach them so young, they are more mindful and they see the magic in the mundane and it's just natural for them. So if you have kids, this is so much fun. Sorry, my
That
dog's.
is. No, no, no. Covey is agreeing with you. No, and I love bringing up kids because you have young kids, I have adult kids, and even my son the other day, I just want to mention this since we're talking about kids, is, that since I taught him from a young age, like you're doing with yours, Kate, it pays off. And here's how. My son is 25, and he was saying the other day that he's still kind of hurting a little bit from a breakup. And so we're talking about it. And he's like, Mom, I get it. Like, this was put in my path so I can learn stuff and I can grow and be a better person and learn tolerance and understanding. He's like, but darn it, universe, why me? He like threw some little bit of humor in there, but he gets it. And so he lives his life that way. And it just helps to have a little bit understanding of a little deep spirituality.
Yeah, definitely. And I love how he's like, yes, I understand the lesson, but I'm going to feel this too. So, like, it's not like you're just like, oh, rainbows and butterflies all the time. Like, he's like, yeah, this really sucks, but
Yeah,
I get it.
we're human. Yeah,
Yeah.
human emotions.
Yeah. So, with that being said, let's do some real world glamour scenarios. We're talking about our
Mm,
real life. So, first date, for example, you want romance, but you also want to feel confident. So I'd go for like a soft rose lipstick, a touch of gold shimmer on the eyes, and maybe a dress or top in a warm, flattering red or blush tone. But I know that we talked about this the last glamour episode, Brie. It's kind of a funny story. I told one of my friends. I said, she's like, I want to know like if this person's good. I'm like, ask for any red flags to be shown clearly. This man showed up in a red car with red clothes and there was something else red and she's like, I'm done. Like she didn't even go on the date. It was funny.
that is hilarious. Like, be careful what you ask for and how you
Yes.
ask for it, because she
Right.
got all the red. That is hilarious. But you know what? Then you also, sit in gratitude. Thank you for giving me the sign that I asked for.
Yeah, definitely. And just asking for it. It's like you got to ask and believe that you're supported. And it's so much more clear when you believe that you're supported and guided and protected. So
Mhm.
I love that one. So first date, wearing red yourself. You're not turning yourself into a red flag, but you can set the intention to see red flags around you. Like show me all the red flags. I want them to be clear. If there are any, hopefully there's not, but it happens. So the next what scenario would be like a job interview. So you want to project trust and capability. So like navy or deep blue is perfect. So maybe a blouse in that color with subtle gold jewelry for success. Nails. So this could be natural beige, pale pink. So the focus is on you, not on your manicure.
Love it.
Yeah. And difficult conversations. I love this one because I know I've been doing readings and this is just like we all need this one right now. Difficult conversations. So wearing calming colors like blue or green to keep communication open and grounded. A clear gloss or subtle eye shimmer can keep your energy approachable. Love that.
Oh, yeah, I love that too. That is awesome. I'll add, for public speaking or being on camera, a rich jewel tone like emerald or sapphire can make your energy pop without being overpowering.
Love that one. So, how to program your glamour. So, programming is where your intention gets locked in. So, here's my process. It's different for everyone. Make this your own. Take what you need. So I call upon archangels whose specialties align with my intention. Or you can ask any deities, guides, or ascended masters to help enhance your intentions and make them extra potent. So it's as simple as asking them to join you, to come super close. And then I surround myself and the item in white light, clear out any stagnant energies, insecurities, fears, and worries. So my intention's pure. So this also acts as protection for your day. Then I hold the item. So this can be anything, um, a charm, lipstick, an outfit, necklace in both hands. So I close my eyes and I visualize the color glowing brighter. So whatever the color of my intention is, it's surrounded in that color and it gets brighter. So then next you breathe into it and imagine your intention flowing into it. So see yourself in the moment you're preparing for. And then you speak it aloud. When I wear this, I radiate blank. So fill it in with your goal, love, confidence, authority, etc. And then you seal the energy with a gesture. So you could blow on it, tap 3 times, or spritz with some charged water. So, and here's the beauty, you can program the same item for different purposes, which I do often. So, that red lipstick you wore for the date, you can cleanse it and program it for a speaking event to channel boldness instead of romance.
That's awesome. Yep. And so let's talk a little bit about protection and discernment. So if you're worried about what's in, we're going back to cosmetics here. If you're worried about what's in the product energetically, we just want to share this. Here's something you can keep in your toolkit. It's very easy to do. It's science backed. So you can do an intuition check with kinesiology. Look it up. So here's what you do: standing up, relaxed, hold the item about 3 inches in front of your solar plexus. You could close your eyes, relax your knees so your knees aren't locked, and then take a deep breath. And you're going to notice something. You're going to have micro responses in your body. And I do this all the time. You're going to feel yourself either pulled towards it, neutral, or you're going to feel like being pushed away, like you're being repelled. So if you feel like you're repelled, then your body is saying don't use it. And this works for everything, by the way. In fact, I tried it on one of my paramedic partners one time. He didn't believe me. So we were in Starbucks and I had him close his eyes. He had no idea what I was getting. And I grabbed some cheese thing from like their refrigerated section. And I told him already, close your eyes, just relax your knees, to just breathe. And I'm going to put this in front of like your belly, but I'm not going to tell you when. You're not going to know what's going to happen. I put it in front of his solar plexus. Now he was lactose intolerant, I might add. And he nearly flew back. It was so funny. His response was like, "Holy cow, that was crazy." And he never questioned it again.
I love that. I love that, Marie. And I've tried that and it really does work. So you taught me that and I have used it. And it is amazing how our body is just so in tune with what we need and what we don't need.
And let's add like not just cosmetics, since we're talking about that, by the way. There's certain, like, if you aren't sure if you need a certain supplement or food or even a certain item of jewelry or something, if you are setting that intention for the day, do this and see what your body says.
Yes. So next is energy cleansing. So you can cleanse your energy in various ways, like smoke cleansing, sound cleansing, using moon water mist, or my favorite, envisioning white light or any color that matches your intention. And then shielding ritual. So imagine a mirrored bubble surrounding you and say, only what serves my highest good may enter. Our friend Joe Punahu shared a powerful tip. Make your bubble of light as large as possible. Like I loved when he said this, and we have to have him back on. He said,
Yeah.
envision your aura and the light surrounding you filling the entire room. Allow your energy to be big and powerful. So I just use this quick visualization before entering public spaces because I get really dizzy and I feel if I don't shield myself before going into the school or stores, I get dizzy and I feel off. So I always expand my aura and also makes me feel safe. So also when I'm feeling insecure, stressed, or afraid. So I love that Joe shared that. It's so simple, but so powerful. And I noticed that when I started to use that, I allowed myself to feel bigger. I felt bigger. I allowed my energy to be big and take up a whole room.
And you're
So
sharing that, because obviously that energy is touching other people, and it's not the intention to overpower anything. It's a protection for you, but you're doing it with like the highest intention and pure light. And so that can't be a bad thing for everybody that it touches.
no, if anything, it's good for, like, in the store, for example, if I have a huge bubble around me, everyone in that bubble is safe too.
Hmm.
You know, so I love that one. So next is limit brand attachment. So remember, you are the magic, not the logo. So ultimately, glamour magic is a tool to enhance your intentions, providing you with an instant and lasting boost in your vibration. So you have the power to decide how it's used. By layering your protection and intention, you can confidently enter any space while owning your energy. So you can learn more about shields, their colors and their meanings, as well as archangels and their specialties in my book, Angel Magic. And then Marie and I also co wrote Angel Magic Prayers and Meditations. So there's a lot, both of those books.
Yes. And so Kate is, yeah, please check out our books. They're really fun. No, it's just I'm just thinking now more about like if there is any truth to this, right? These ritualistic things that these large cosmetic companies are doing. And I'm just like, there's witches everywhere.
I know.
Taking over the world. But there I do a similar thing with the purest of intentions when I'm creating my kitchen witch products. When I am like, I made candles yesterday. I made pumpkin spice candles, for our, oh, we're so excited for this season coming up. But there's an intention that I put into the wax when it's melting into the jar as I'm pouring, as I'm adding my embellishments on the top. There's an intention there that when somebody has this candle and they're burning it in their home, that light will radiate the exact frequency and every good thing that they need at that time. That's the intention I set. Not become dependent on kitchen witch.
You
Like,
would have to put Kitchen
that's
Witch on pre-order, on monthly order.
yeah, yeah.
But you can feel it though,
Subscription.
Marie.
Oh, thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
and I'm glad because that is the intention I set. It's all good and not like getting dependent. I just that's kind of funny, but it's interesting that there's so much going around about it. So, if you are a purchaser and user of like higher end beauty products, and I know we all have our favorites, sorry, there's a really loud motorcycle going by. But you can undo the intention by putting your own in there, and that's all Kate and I are saying. If there's any question, just reprogram it for yourself.
right.
So yeah, so I think let's talk about some handmade products since we're talking handmade products already. So let's do some mindful magic time. And this one is for your vanity table. We're making a simple handmade tinted moisturizer that you can bless and charge yourself. And it's so simple. I love this one, Kate.
I do too. You only need a few things, and you probably have most of them at home. So, this is a handmade tinted moisturizer recipe, which I'm so excited about. Um, we're going to share the recipe and how to make it, and then also a blessing for this product. So, the first thing you need is a teaspoon of your favorite lightweight moisturizer. So, you can even add some aloe vera gel. The next item is a half teaspoon of mineral based loose powder foundation or a clean pressed powder. So, this is like crushing, like you take some of the pressed powder and you crush it up. Next, 1 to 2 drops of a nourishing facial oil like jojoba or rosehip. And then optional, you can add a drop of essential oil for intention. So lavender for calm, rose for love, and one of Marie's favorites, frankincense for protection. And make sure it's skin safe and diluted. That's important. So you sanitize a small clean jar or a dish with rubbing alcohol. You mix your moisturizer and powder until it's smooth. And then you add your facial oil and essential oil if you're using it. So you blend this really well until you get a creamy, even tint, and you store in a small airtight jar. So one thing I forgot to add to this recipe is if you don't want to use any of the foundation powders, you can this blew my mind. You can use cocoa powder, like a organic cocoa powder. So I mean, you have to experiment with it a little bit in the shades, but you can use cocoa powder if you do not want to use foundation. So
Okay.
anyway, so you blend all that till you get the tint that you want, and then you store it in a small airtight jar, and you just have to use it within 2 weeks. So you can just make little jars at a time.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, I don't know if anybody's like me. I love slathering moisturizer on me. So I'm like a teaspoon. How about more like a cup?
I
But
love that meme.
that's just me.
Maria said, if you don't look like a glazed donut before bed, or what are you even doing?
Right? That's so me. I am fully glazed like a
Me
fresh
too.
Krispy Kreme glaze. Yeah. You know, but anyway, so now once you make your product and then you can bless it. So Kate, I love that. And I'm so glad we included it because making these things at home, you can experiment with it and you're making it yourself and some people still like to buy it, but I like using things that I make. It saves money. I know exactly what's in it. And with this particular one, if you're already using a pre-made moisturizer, um and you're adding no extra water to it, you don't even need to add a preservative. That's beautiful. The only reason you add preservative is for water content and stuff, because mold will grow. So if it's all oil based, or it's pre-made and probably has a little bit of its own preservative, you don't need to add anything to it. But anyway, Kate, let's talk about how we can bless it. So, one of the things we like to do is holding things in our palms, both our palms. So, take your little jar, hold it in your palms, close your eyes, and picture it glowing with a radiant light. The light color of your intention, like pink for love, gold for confidence, green for prosperity. And then you can whisper, here's our little ritual spell. By the hands and heart's desire, this blend is charged with radiant fire. May it shield, may it charm, may it glow from within. For the highest good, let the magic begin. And then I hear like midnight margaritas, like the
I
fake language
know, yeah.
going. And then tap the lid 3 times to seal in the energy. And anytime you use it, just repeat a quick affirmation like, I am radiant, confident, and protected.
I love that so much, Marie. My crown chakra is tingling. So, like, that means for me too is like spirit is telling me to allow yourself to make it your own. So, whatever your goal may be for the day, or just let's say for 2 weeks, if you set like a 2 week goal, like for as good as it is, you have to make a new one in 2 weeks, set a goal. So, just allow yourself to experiment with it, set your own intentions, set a goal. But I love it, Marie. Like, that was just so powerful. I was like all tingly. So,
Yay.
and that way, every time you apply it, you're not just moisturizing, you're activating a glamour spell that's entirely yours.
I know. I love that. I love that. I think they're even more powerful that way. You're
Yeah.
setting the energy, you've chosen the intention. And here's the thing, you're the magic.
Yes. Yes. So, Maria and I wanted to ask, so we want to hear from you with no brand names. We don't want to call anybody out. So, we have a few questions for our listeners. So, the first one, and you can respond in any way, messaging, commenting now while you're listening. So, what have you heard or witnessed about ritual like practices around high end products? So, in lab stores or launch events. And then, have you ever felt a product carried an energy that wasn't yours, magnetic or off? What changed when you cleansed or reprogrammed it? I really am curious of the listeners on that one. Um, and then, do you feel dependent on a specific product to feel seen or, quote, ready? What does it give you and what does it cost you?
I love that. Yeah, we want to hear from you guys. We like to be interactive. So, share your story in the comments or even send us a voice note and we'll share a few the next episode with your permission, of course, respectfully and anonymously if you prefer that way.
Yeah. So, whether the conspiracy theories are true or just internet mystery, here's what's real: beauty has always been magic, and you get to choose whether the magic is programmed by someone else or by you.
Exactly. Glamour is power. Just make sure it's your power.
And speaking of feminine power, we are still within the black moon energy from last night and wanted to share a few helpful tips you can use today and even tomorrow. So let's talk about the Greek goddess Hecate. So Hecate is often honored with practices that emphasize liminality, so crossroads, thresholds, transitions, protection, guidance, and connecting with intuition.
Right, Kate. So, real quick, for those of you who don't know, a black moon is the second new moon in 1 month. So, it's just like the blue moon, which is the second full moon in a month. So, just in case anybody doesn't know what that is, there was a lot of stuff going around everywhere about the black moon, and everybody's like, what is that? Um, okay, so back to Hecate, which can be spelled Hecate or Hakate. But since we have our very own Kate here, I think I'm going to spell it with a K.
Oh, thank
So
you.
Hecate with a K. So she's the daughter of the Titans Perses and Asteria. Unlike many deities, she was honored by both Olympians and Titans and given the power over earth, sea, and sky. Like Kate said, she guards thresholds, literal, doors and crossroads, and metaphorical, life transitions, birth, death, and initiation.
Known as the goddess of sorcery, spells, necromancy, and divination. So, especially the dark or waning moon, guiding those who seek hidden wisdom. She carries torches to light the way through darkness. So, Hecate tends to show up when we hit crossroads. So, breakups, big changes, the I'm done moments. She's very protective, especially of mothers and children. Total mama bear gatekeeper energy. So, and not in a bad way. Keys
Yeah.
and torches, dogs at the door, warding the house at night. She'll nudge you with signs or body shifts so your boundaries click into place. So her vibe is sovereignty plus safety. So cut the cords, shield up, and take the next right step for you and your children or your family. So say yes, and she turns the light on, guides you, and helps you feel safe, empowered, and held every step of the way. So some of her symbols, and I don't know about you, Marie, but when it's like almost like she comes to me when I need her and I don't realize that I even need her yet. Um, Very, very loud. So very clear. So you'll see torches, keys, daggers, dogs, especially black dogs, serpents. Usually for me, it's keys and serpents.
Mhm.
Crossroads, the crescent moon.
Yeah. For me, definitely the crescent moon. So, another thing she does is she escorts spirits between worlds, much like Hermes. She aided Perseus in his quest to behead Medusa and guided Demeter with torches. I always wondered Demeter. Do I say that right? I don't even know. Sorry,
I
guys.
say Demeter. Maybe we're
Okay.
not saying it right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go
I
with it
think it's
until
Demeter.
I think so too, actually. So, she also guided Demeter with torches as she searched for Persephone. So she often shows up as three women, so like back to back, representing past, present, and future, or Mother Maiden and Crone. In ancient Greece, offerings called Hecate's, oh boy, Diphon,
Deep
oh,
supper.
it's like it's Hecate's supper. I should have looked this up before. Um, so her offerings were left at literal crossroads, especially during the dark moon. So people left supper. These meals often included garlic, eggs, bread, and fish.
So here's a few easy rituals to honor her and work with her energy, which I did a quick meditation before we recorded, and I have a reading for the collective from Hecate, but I forgot to add in it. So one of the things that I heard from her is physically standing in a doorway holding on to a key. This is a perfect place to stand to connect with her or invoke her energy into your life. So I wanted to say that before I go on. That's the first way. I forgot to add it in the reading.
Love it.
So there's more rituals and ways to honor her. So the next is a key charm spell. So the purpose is to carry Hecate's protection with you. So what you do is you take an old key. So it doesn't one you don't use anymore. You can purchase a key specifically for this. So you can thrift it, or like many of us, I know that Hecate leaves keys. So if you find a key just out of nowhere, that is your key. So you take that key and you hold it in both hands and focus on your intent. So you say aloud with your key, key of Hecate, wise and true, guard my path in all I do. open doors where light should be, and lock away all harm from me. So after you do this and you say this, you can wear it as a necklace. You can put it in a place you walk by every day, keep it on your altar, or even carry it in your pocket or purse.
I love the key. I mean, that's such a great symbol, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
So
And a great reminder. It's not, it stands out all the time.
yeah, totally. And now I want to hear from people if they, if our, from our listeners, if you just start to find like a random key on the ground, or anything like that. I think that that happens, especially when you start to think about this. So, you can specifically ask Hecate for guidance, protection, and clarity. And to do this, you go to a three-way crossroads. You can do this actually, or you can just do it symbolically, like draw one with chalk on your floor, or just set an intention for one, in your mind, in your meditation, and then place the offerings like we talked about, like garlic, honey, eggs, wine, bread, or dark chocolate. She loves dark chocolate. And of course, if you're doing this in meditation, you can just set the intention that you're bringing these offerings. So light a candle and with intention say, Hecate, Enodia, torch in the night, guide my footsteps, guard with your light. At this crossroads, my gifts I lay, protect my path by night and by day. Now, Enodia is just the Greek word for keeper of the road. So that's just something we added to honor her role. And then what this is Greek tradition now, leave without looking back. So you just have to trust that you set the intention and let it go.
I love that. That's powerful. Like you can't turn around and look back. I love that. Like I just like that the end of it. It's like you turn around and you don't look back. I don't know why I love that so much.
Yeah,
The next one is new moon shadow work. So this is to release old patterns and invite Hecate's transformative energy. So on the dark new moon, write down your fears, habits, blockages, and then you light a black candle and ask Hecate to help you release them. So then you burn the paper safely in a fire safe dish. You can save the ash for use in rituals where you are banishing negative energy or blockages to anoint your candles, for example. And then you thank her and ground yourself with bread or salt water.
I love that one too. And
Hmm.
there's many more ways to honor her, but since this being a black moon last night, at least when we're making this episode, so the new moon and the full moon, that it's got an energetic signature for a few days. So that's why we're mentioning it now. Kate, I don't know about you. You know how powerful this one was for me.
Me too. It was for me as well.
It was like, seems like all of our sister friends that we talked to, it was just very strong energy. So
Yeah. And also, Marie, we forgot to mention that we talk every day. And we both woke up and talked this morning, and we both called upon Hecate in the night, or she popped up or came in. Whatever it was, we haven't talked about her in a while. So she came up. You mentioned her, and I'm like, hey, I was connecting with her last night. It was almost like the same time. That was really neat too, which is a big reason we added her in today.
yeah, yeah, it she was saying add me in. That was, we got it.
Hmm.
We got the hint.
Yeah.
So so we've wandered the crossroads with Hecate, keeper of torches and keys, and we've unmasked the secrets of glamour magic and how it can bend perception, protect, and empower you.
So we're going to do a closing reading. So um, this is the message that I received from Hecate in meditation. So I'm going to read what I was given the message. So we're in a Hecate cycle. So transformation, renewal, and release. So the divine feminine showing us what needs to be healed, reawakened, and released by mirroring it through the women in our lives. I thought that was so interesting. So
Wow.
pay attention to the women in your life. So if you feel a trigger or you start comparing, that's not proof you're behind. This is your compass. So ask yourself, what quality is she reflecting that wants to wake up in me? And what can I let go of now?
Oh,
So
I
pay
love that.
attention to the people in your life, women specifically, even children, even girls. I'm also hearing many of us have been suppressing our wild, raw feminine power. Feminine power. She's reawakening. So we may be just getting to know her. I say that because I feel that I have not reawakened that in this lifetime. I'm like ready to do that. So we're just getting to know her, the untamed, creative, honest. It's empowering. And yes, your presence may trigger other women. So not only are, if you're feeling triggered, your presence is triggering other women in your life. So if you feel judgment or harsh reactions, remember this is the mirror working. So shine anyway and meet it with compassion. You can say to yourself, may my light remind us all what's possible. Another a message that I received from Hekate was the left side check, the left side of your body, which is your feminine side. So if there's any aches, tingles, or pressure, place your left hand there and ask, what do you need? So I'm going to give you some examples. So the left side, your throat, so the left side of your throat. And I know that sounds strange, but if you set the intention to connect with your body and spirit on sides, whether it be masculine or feminine, it is amazing how you will start receiving messages on one side depending on what it is that you need. So that's where this is coming from. So anyways, the left side of your throat. So this is your voice and your boundaries. So the left side of your heart, this is receiving love. Your left sacral, this is your creativity and feelings. And then your left root chakra, this is your safety and home. So also check in with the left side of your body. And then I'll share a quick reset. So put your hand on your heart, inhale, exhale, and say, I honor this cycle. I awaken what's mine. I release what's complete. I shine with compassion. So bring one woman to your mind who activated you today. So name the quality you admire and say, I bless this in her and I awaken it within me. So you're safe to heal, you're free to reawaken, and fully allowed to begin again. So Hecate reminds us that true glamour isn't just about illusion, but transformation, the kind that begins in the shadows and shines outward.
I love that. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this journey today. We'll be back soon with another tale from the unseen world. Until then, stay mindfully magic.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and all the podcast platforms, as well as our YouTube channel at
If
Mindful
you have
Magic
any questions
Podcast
or topics you would
and Mindful Magic Channel.
Sorry, that
And
was
you can
me.
email us. It's okay. And you can email us with any questions or comments at mindfulmagicchannel@gmail.com. See you next time.
See you next time. There we go. I stopped.